look different, ride different. Let's get this party started. So here's the deal. When I first got the 4runner, I was in college. I didn't have money to be spending on a really fancy lift kit. I needed ground clearance because I had a limited, and so I went the cheap route and I did a spacer lift. I know, say what you want about me, but for me, it's what I had to do. At the time I was under warranty, I did a spacer lift, all that. I did that on here. It's a pain in the butt, but we got it done, and I've been riding with it for years and it rides awful. X-Reas is what is on here, X-R-E-A-S, X-Reas, whatever. I've heard it a ton of different ways. I have been riding that way and I need a proper lift on here for what I want to do. Long ago, when I was early in college, I wanted a 5th gen gray 4runner with long travel suspension. And here we are. I got 5th gen 4runner, the color I want. And now I'm finally getting to put on this long travel suspension. It's something I've been dreaming of. But now I have to put it all together. It came in boxes. I got the Dobinson's long travel for the rear, the extended travel for the front. I worked with Treaty Oak Off-Road, and he got me set up for the right amount of weight for the front bumper. I have the 3rd row. I carry mountain bikes when we go on trips and some gear in the back. So I got everything weighted right with the coils for my setup. So pretty pumped about that. Now today, here's what I'm doing. This is gonna be a multi-day adventure here. Today I'm building the front coils. I got new top hats. We got the front struts, the coils for the front struts. And so I'm gonna build all that today. And then Tuesday, have some of my friends that usually work on cars with me, they're gonna come down and we're gonna install the front coils, take out the X-Reas, put in the rear shocks and coils, as well as extended brake lines on here to compensate for the long travel, because if I don't, it's gonna stretch out those lines and can cause a lot of issues. So I'm actually gonna do that, and we're pretty pumped about that. It's gonna be awesome. It's going to make this vehicle far more capable. I'm going to be able to have all 4 wheels on the ground when I'm doing crazy stuff out there. It's going to enhance the ride, since I've been riding with a spacer kit on X-Reas and it's just not good. So if you're out there and you're going spacer versus proper lift, like I've been on the spacer side, and we're going to see at the end of this what it looks like to be on the properly lifted side, but everything inside me is going to be like, hey, go the lifted route. It's going to be much better. So we're going to start that now. Start working on building the front coils. So let's jump in. So first thing unboxing is these front coils. So we go here. Look at those. There's the front 2 coils. Top hat. Let's open these up. So, there they are. Important things to note here. These bad boys will go over like that. Will come through here, and then this will sit on top. All right, we gotta watch for the bushing that's on top here. A lot of guys, I think, will add too many bushings and make it more difficult. You can see this little groove sits right there. So just a heads up on that. That's pretty important. So my first tip with building this, if you're using the nice cheap kit from like O'Reilly's, you want to give yourself more space, like right here and right here, as opposed to going like right here and clamping down. Now here's the issue that I had. Tip number 2. I had to pull each one of these off of this, install them individually, slide the rod through, thread it, and once I did that, I was able to start cranking down. I couldn't get these off because the coil was compressed now because of this. All right, so with that, here's what I did. I got this little towel down here on the ground. I wrapped it around the end of this, and I put it in there, and I kind of wedged it like that, and that spaced it out enough for me to get this thing out. Another tip would be with this bad boy is just get it on far enough where this is comfortably, all right, and safely on here, not all the way tightened down. Then loosen these bad boys off and get them all the way off. Once these are all the way off, then tighten this down. Here's my word to the wise. You can do it. It's possible. But my question is it worth it? Like, is Is it worth it to use these? Is it wise to do it? That's up to you. Is it possible? It's possible. Is it worth it? I don't know that it is. It was a pain. I'll tell you. Like I said, it was a pain, but you can do it. You're home with the O'Reilly's tools. If you have a socket set, if you have an impact wrench, like you can do it. Is it fun? No. All right, so that's day one. Looking forward to my friend showing up. It's gonna be a good time. So, on to the next day. All right, so it's the next day. I got my boy Jacob here. You can see him back there. Vic is on his way. So what we're gonna do to start off is we're gonna measure from the hub to the fender on all 4 wheels to see where we're at before and after the lift is done and how it settles. So once we do that, I'm gonna make it all happen and we'll get it up.
Jacob.
Yeah, your name's Jacob, excuse me. His name's Jacob, but we also have jack stands and a jack. We'll prop it up and then take everything off and get to cruising on, we're gonna knock out coils first, then upper control arm, and then button it back up. So it looks like we're at about 22.5 right here. Right here we're at 23. Yeah, 22.5. 23, so it's even on all 4 sides.
Level.
Yeah, it's level. The leveling kit did a great job of what it was supposed to be doing, that's for sure. The third party's finally here, my boy Vic.
The wrench.
He's carrying a wrench like he's actually doing something. Lower control arm down. We had to bust the bolts on the front and the back on both sides. Once we did that and busted the bolts on the bottom, it wouldn't come down, but what we did was we loosened it up top. Once we did that, we literally just like loosened it and this whole thing just dropped out. Here's the old setup next to the new setup, and you can see like without that spacer, that top hat would be down here. So that gives the lift right there. You can see it's overall, it's a little longer. And what I'm excited about is this is actually rated for the weight of the vehicle with the front bumper. So it's just gonna ride considerably better. Just a heads up, you probably saw a bunch of fluid over there. If you have a limited and you're doing this, all right, you have X-Rayus, it's all tied together, it's a whole system. I just busted it loose. I thought it was gonna be a slow trickle and it hosed me and my buddies, and you can see a little bit on his shirt. It got everywhere. So just a heads up. So we're gonna take that coil, we're gonna slide it in there, bolt it up top, then we'll bring the bottom up, bolt it in, and go from there. All right, so we got one side all buttoned up, the upper control arms. We'll show you some things that you probably should not do on the other side. So just a heads up, some things to watch out for. But we got it up, it's on the ground. It sits a little bit higher, but it's obviously still a little bit higher because it still has to settle. It'll probably take around 500 to 1,000 miles before it settles to its final ride height. So we're tightening up the upper control arm now. There's this ABS line that's right there on the, right where his hand is. Yeah, so you gotta watch and make sure that thing's not tight. If you do, you can mess it up pretty good. So we had to bungee cord it all the way around this whole spindle, because if we didn't, that thing would come and it would tighten up. In fact, it's what I see a lot of people messing up when they do lift kits, is messing up that ABS line. So you gotta make sure that thing is not tight. So we got that in, tightened it up, and we should be good to go. All right, so we just got all of it buttoned up. So here's that ABS line, talking about right there. Gotta watch out for. Got it all tightened up. For control arms, tighten on both sides. So we're gonna put the tire back on. The front is done. Now all we have to do is the back. So just to show you the difference between the X-Rayus shock absorbers fully extended versus the long travel, a good probably like 6 inches. And then on the coils back here, you can see the difference between stock, and this is one of their variable weighted springs. You can tell by the tighter coils up towards the top, it'll handle weight just a little bit better. We got the back fully down, so you can see back there, and we're in the process now of putting all these goodies in there, as well as extended brake lines that'll go in there as well, and we should be set. All right, so we have finished the 4runner. Jacob is semi-impressed with himself. It took all day. So you can see the sun
literally
is now setting, but it looks great. Like, it really does. It looks awesome. I'm gonna step back. It looks really good. It rides and looks considerably better. I'll let Jacob take it for a ride. Jacob, what do you think?
It's a lot smoother. The back has a lot more control than
yeah.
just the factory.
He's driven it before. He's like my best friend. So we go and do trips all the time. So he's driven this and he knows it was rough before. But now we don't have to worry about it riding like that, and this will last us a long time. Just a few tips. All right, this is our tip time here, Jacob. On the front, watch your ABS line. It's attached on the upper control arm. People mess it up, I reference it again. All right, another tip.
Rent a coil compressor.
Yeah, so rent a coil compressor ahead of time. So I've done rear stuff on the suspension on this before. With the long travel on this, like I was not able to, like literally we disconnected the whole axle and we still like almost weren't getting enough travel to get the coils in there. And we went to every shop in town to get a coil compressor and like it just didn't work out. What we had to do was we had a ratchet strap, and I'm not recommending it. I'm not going to show it because it was that bad, but it was our only option to get it done today. So just some tips for the back would be loosen obviously your sway bar. Also loosen the 4 links that hold the axle up. Once we loosen that, we were able to get another few inches of travel. That helped out a ton. The extended brake lines, do that before you drop the back. And the reason I say that is we're actually getting hung up because those brake lines are so tight, and now we have a ton of line with it, which is great. But do that first so that as you're trying to pull down the rear axle, it's just gonna help tremendously. What else do you think?
Drink lots of water.
Drink lots of hydration is key. Jacob came in clutch with all the water at Gatorade, and he definitely took one of the tips from our video that we had the other day. Is there anything else you guys can think of? Vic, you got any tips for doing the back?
Just be patient, man. Be patient.
Be patient.
Be willing to get dirty.
Yeah. It was a ton of fun. We made memories, and that's what it's about, is hanging out with the boys and doing something fun. I know that we're gonna go on a ton of trips together. Actually, Jacob's gonna be in one of my videos. We always go car camping together. He's got tons of tips and tricks. And then Vic is one of my homies. It's a coffee connoisseur. He's gonna be in a video coming up, talk about camping and coffee and how the two go together and the best ways to approach it. If you ever have questions, let me know. I'm available. I'm gonna link below my playlist that I watched for the whole build. And I'm not doing like a step-by-step on this because there's guys that are far more advanced than I am. I want you to watch their videos and how they did it because they're more qualified than I am. I was just trying to save some money and do it at home. So that's all we got for you guys. Thanks. Say bye to the fellas.
Wreck 'em.
Wreck 'em.
See you next time.
That's right.
Yeah, that's right. Thank you guys. We'll catch you later.